Yay! Alright, I think we're good. I think we are.
I think the same.
We're just trying something new tonight. Giving it a go, so to speak. But we're gonna double check and make sure before we actually go live.
Okay, here we are.
Okay, we are live. Excellent,
Yay.
excellent. Hello everyone, I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amber.
And we are Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux out of Hickson, Tennessee. And this is The Spoiling Dead, number 104. We are reviewing Season 8, Episode 5 of The Walking Dead, titled The Big Scary You, which we found out stands for The Big Scary Unknown. This episode, holy crap, there were a lot of different things that I was kind of here. I really had no clue, what was going on at the very beginning. You knew what was going on as far as the the whole Negan thing, but I didn't know if this was just going to be Negan telling a story, or if this was going to be like a total flashback episode, or if this was going to be flip-flopping around, which...
It was flip-flopping around.
Yeah, it ended up being something completely different. But it was good. I mean, every single scene that was shown in this episode, Sarah's on. Hello, Sarah!
Yeah, Sarah's on, so is Devasso.
Wish you could be here. Yes, Devasso's on. Oh, Devasso got here early. Somebody do me a favor and give it a go on the legacy tokens to see if we're live. But, okay, so I really should have taken notes on this one because this was a busy episode. First, we finally get to see Gabriel and Negan. I want to cover one storyline at a time.
Yeah, that's our best bet. I'm trying, but nothing's coming up, but that don't mean anything.
Okay, are we not? Okay, give us just a second, everybody. We're going to fix this, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole Gabriel Negan thing, that was really the central point of this episode. And let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. We're working on this, trying to get everybody's legacy tokens set up to where nobody misses out. Okay, we should be good now. Give that another go. Anybody wants to earn some legacy tokens? Okay, so Gabriel basically tells him that he wants to take...
Okay, yeah.
Okay. He tells Negan that he wants to take his confession.
Yes, he feels like that's what his purpose is, because even though he's done a lot of things, good things, since he locked his people out of the church, he still doesn't feel like he's redeemed himself.
And he hasn't.
And he will never really redeem himself. That's something he's just going to have to live with.
He's going to end up dying unhappy.
Probably.
Which looks like we're a step closer to that. From what we see here.
So he gets it into his head that he's there. He happens to be in the same trailer with Negan to get his confession of all his sins. But the thing is at that moment, Negan thinks he hasn't done anything wrong.
Yes. And they go back and forth. The exchange between the two of them is magic in this episode.
It really is.
And it gets to the point where Gabriel is questioning his life choices and stuff, Negan's life choices, and he finally kind of verbally attacks him on his multiple wives, and
yes.
He asks,
did you have a wife before?
Yeah, like a wife.
That you vowed.
And that was like fingernails on a chalkboard to Negan. It dug down to that part where no one has been able to get to him. Nobody's been able to mentally screw with Negan. And
But that
Gabriel
really got to him.
did it.
Yep.
Like, he struck a nerve, a raw nerve. And so, like, that was really where it started picking up. Because honestly, I thought that this episode, when the way they presented it to begin with, I really thought that this episode was going to happen to where Negan was going to tell his entire backstory. I thought this was going to be a flashback episode. I was like, holy crap, I'm excited. And then I kind of came down a little bit off of that in the opening 5 or 10 minutes of the episode after that, after the credits rolled and everything. But this ended up being just as good.
It was still a really good episode. Yeah.
This was kind of borrowed from a more recent Walking Dead comic book, where in the comic book, Alexandria gets hit pretty hard by a zombie apocalypse, or, you know, like a big herd. And somehow or the other, Negan and Rick end up locked up in a house or a trailer or a shack, just like Gabriel and Negan did in this episode. And Negan basically opens up and tells Rick everything about his life before the apocalypse.
Yeah.
This is basically loosely adapted from that. And I'm pretty sure eventually we'll see that Rick and Negan moment.
Right.
But this kind of gave us just a
taste.
just a tiny little taste of, you know, of that Negan backstory, and it really made me want more. Like, I would be completely happy. Like, you remember how we got that episode, it was like a 2-episode arc that was nothing but the governor after Woodbury.
Yes.
And leading up to now. I want to see a 1 or 2 episode arc, maybe not even this season, maybe next season.
Yeah.
That doesn't have anything to do with the apocalypse, nothing. It's just like 1 or 2 episodes of pre-apocalypse Negan from the time, basically, that hardcover. Speaking of, I picked this up at Infinity Flux, and I'm pretty sure they probably have more if you're interested in local. The Here's Negan hardcover. Now this is freaking amazing because I've already read the digital copy of it. And of course this is a completely unopened copy that I don't think I'm going to take the plastic off of it. But anyway, it is like a 48-page story hardcover that basically gives you the entire pre-apocalypse story of Negan. And I don't even think
that reminds me of The Shining. Here's Johnny. Looks exactly like him. Look at that face he's making.
I don't even think I want to.
Here's Negan.
I don't think I want to even.
Sorry, couldn't help it.
Dang. But yeah, like I'm not even going to give any details on that because I'm sure the time's coming. But Negan gives Gabriel just a little taste and tells him that he did have a wife. He had messed around on her with another woman. His wife got sick, and when she died, it was right in the middle of everything starting up, and he didn't have the guts to put her down.
Yeah.
And so that was what he dealt with, and
that was his one confession that he gave.
Yes, and it was so weird to see him open up like that, but it was good. God, I loved it.
Yeah, because until then, they've not really gave him any sort of humanity whatsoever. So, it's nice to see.
This is step 1 of people growing to love Negan. You will eventually see that.
Oh no, there's going to be some hardcore haters out there still.
Yeah, but
because they won't be able to get over what all has happened.
But here's the thing, like
me on the other hand, I have a lot of sympathy for
Negan
guys.
is.
They've always been through a lot.
Negan is not a bad guy. That is, I know it's difficult.
He is a bad guy.
I know, huh?
He's a bad guy.
No, he isn't.
Okay.
It's difficult, I know, for anybody to, like, grasp that. He's not a bad guy, but he's not a good guy. He is that neutral gray area.
Ain't no neutral gray area.
Where he has bad tendencies, but he's not inherently evil.
He's an asshole, but you'll learn to like him.
Yeah, kinda.
That's exactly what you're saying. Whatever.
Because... God,
I like Negan.
I don't want to go into his backstory any more than I have to, so I'm not going to give any details. But there's a lot of stuff.
Well, just because somebody's got a really deep emotional backstory doesn't give them the right to be an asshole.
I think that if he wasn't like that he wouldn't command the respect. He kept his people alive. And yeah, he may have skimmed some off the top for himself. But, like I'm saying, overall, he is not evil.
Okay.
Like a lot of people think he is.
Alright.
And it's like he explained to Gabriel. You know, he may have killed those people, but he didn't get them killed. I could totally see where he's coming from there.
Oh yeah, because his rules.
Somebody
broke them.
Look, the only reason...
So he enforced something else. Whatever.
I'm saying, if we would have been watching The Walking Dead from day one, from the point of view of Negan, you'd all be hating Rick right now.
No, probably not. Just because you had past traumatic experiences doesn't give you the right to act how you want to. Period. End of discussion.
Rick is no better.
I didn't say he was.
Can we agree that they're on the same level?
No, not really.
Okay.
They're not on the same level.
Anyway, beyond...
But Rick might be on his way to that level.
Rick has already been to that level a couple of times and has just been pulled out by the help of genuinely good people. I'll go ahead and tell you, if it wasn't for Daryl, if it wasn't for Herschel, if it wasn't for Dale, and in some weird way, Shane.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do when you have people backing you and supporting you. And absolutely.
I honest to God believe that if Morgan hadn't shown up at the perfect time, there's no telling what would have happened the night he killed lady at Alexandria that used to run. You remember the season finale when Morgan showed up right when he killed the guy?
Yes.
If Morgan hadn't showed up, I mean, Rick was on his way to that. And then when Morgan showed up, it was like pulled him right back down to earth for a minute, to like reality.
Yeah.
And they never did show what happened in the immediate aftermath of that, but it skipped ahead a day or two. But
so if Negan had been surrounded by a good support system, he might be more on Rick's level.
Yes, but instead Negan was surrounded by spineless yes men. And I really do think that if Rick would have been surrounded by spineless yes men, that you would have Rick walking around with a, instead of talking about Lucille, would be talking about that damn gun he has, that revolver.
Yeah, it'd probably be named after his wife or something, because she's dead.
Yeah. Look at Lori. But
you're such a weirdo.
I mean, that's what would have happened.
I know.
But continuing on, they end up busting out of the trailer together after covering themselves in zombie guts, which was a really neat deal to see Negan do that.
Yeah, because the look on his face when he was doing it was like, oh my God, I'm tarnishing myself.
Negan doesn't get dirty.
Yeah.
And he did this time.
He hasn't had to.
And it's...
I mean, I'm sure before he came into the position of power he's in, he did, and it's probably been a long time since he's had to, fend for himself, so to speak.
So he shows up. They bust through this crowd of zombies, and at the end of the episode, they take Gabriel prisoner, and they put him in like the cell block, and then later Eugene goes to like give him, I guess, fresh linen and everything. Mm-hmm. Gabriel doesn't answer. Number one, I thought one of two possibilities. Either one, Gabriel has committed suicide and he's dead.
Yeah, that was my first thought.
Or two, he's just waiting in the wings for Eugene to open that door, and he's going to bust out, hit him in the head, knock him out, and he's going to be on the run. But I was like, I don't think Gabriel would do that, because...
But I really did. I was really concerned for your first theory. Yes. I really thought somehow he managed to kill himself.
But instead, we see something that, in my opinion, I think is probably just as bad. I'm almost betting that when they were doing their escape, that he got bit at some point.
Yeah, that's what I'm
thinking. We just didn't see it.
Yeah, as soon as he's sweating, he's,
shivering, he's got the fever and everything.
And I was like, he's been bit. Damn it.
And he looked like he seemed to have had the... And this is the thing. Gabriel, I'll be happy if he goes out this way.
Oh, yeah.
Because he had a great ending. In the comics, the way Gabriel dies is he makes it through the war. He makes it through rebuilding. He makes it through all that. And when they go to war with the Whisperers, he is actually a lookout in the clock tower near Alexandria. And somehow or the other, his leg gets caught up in a wire or something. And he falls out of the tower. And it catches him just enough to where he's like 3 or 4 or 5 feet above the ground. And before he can lift himself up and untie himself, zombies swarm him and just eat him alive. So, I didn't like the way he went out in the comics. If he goes out this way, getting bit en route to helping Negan escape, and right after really cutting to the core of him, I'll be much more satisfied on this level. And they do seem to be kind of taking some stuff from later in the series and adapting it to now, as we saw in the trailer just a little bit ago. But, I mean, yeah, this episode was really... We had some other stuff happen. Mm-hmm. Negan's Inner Circle.
Oh, yes.
Which is Dwight, Eugene...
to the outpost.
Simon.
People.
Yeah. And God, what's that? I
don't know their names.
I can't remember that woman's name with like the shaved sides of head and everything. But anyway, they all are like, a couple of them are suspecting that there's a traitor, a mole in their midst. Because how else are all these stations getting hit and everything?
Yeah.
Eugene's really close to getting caught. Negan actually approaches him and, is like, hey, you're going to help me find out who does this or you're going to die. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know. Like I will say, in the comics, Eugene lives through the war. And he plays a very... here's the thing, though. I don't care how long somebody lives in the comics. I don't care how important they are to the story. Mm-hmm. The characters seem to be interchangeable.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the comics, Andrea just now died. Like, literally 3 months ago. And, she's been dead since the end of season 3.
Yeah.
In the TV show. But in the comics, she lived past the prison, past the governor, ends up marrying Rick, the whole 9 yards. And then, in the comics, Carol's been dead since the prison. Mm-hmm. And now look at her in the series. It's like, the stories, the plots, and everything are like totally interchangeable. So... how Eugene factors in the comics later in the story, that could just as easily be somebody else. It could be Carl. because Eugene in the comics spends like the next probably season, 2 seasons worth of show talking to another far off community on a ham radio. But he keeps it a secret from everybody. Nobody knows it. And so then finally somebody else happens upon the radio when a broadcast is coming through, and they're like, oh, did you know about these people? And he's like, yeah, I've been talking to them for like a year now. And they're like, well, thanks for telling us. And then they get a group together to go meet this group far away. And that's where the series is at this moment. They're just now literally met them in the latest issue. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that could just as easily like be Carl in the TV show. Talking to them and hiding, or somebody who would have reason to, oops, I found another community on the radio, I might want to keep this secret, or people are going to be pissed off at me. That kind of thing. So alright, what else do we have? We've got that. Probably one of the most comical and entertaining, you know exactly where I'm going with this. I'm going to move this back so you quit kicking it.
Stop.
Okay, we're good now.
I'm short.
Oh, I know. That's why I moved it 3 feet away to where you couldn't touch it.
Stop that.
So Rick and Daryl, holy crap. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time since season 1 they've come to blows. This is the first time they've ever laid hands and punched each other.
Yeah, that I can think of.
Because the only time that this has happened before in the show, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, somebody please feel free to correct. But in like the 3rd episode, the 3rd episode of season 1, Daryl attacked Rick because Rick left his brother up on top of that roof. And since then, I don't think we've had an issue like that. So, anyway, Daryl has this revenge plot.
Oh, yeah.
Ready to rock and roll. And he basically tells Rick, hey, you don't want to go kill these people, but you ain't got to. I am. And he plans on taking this big bag of dynamite and everything. But little do they know that the truck that has overturned last episode is leaking gas. And you see that right away. You know something's going to happen. But I didn't know that they were going to get into a fight because Daryl wants to go off and kill everybody with dynamite.
I mean, they are really giving each other hell.
They are.
They are rolling around
fighting,
on the ground, punching.
Arguing. The whole deal. So Rick, I guess, just to be like, to hell with this, gets the bag and launches it over behind the truck. And while they're sitting there just beating the hell out of each other, the truck catches fire, explodes, and then suddenly the dynamite's going off a stick at a time.
And they're both just sitting there looking like,
whenever the truck caught fire, the fight immediately ceased. And Daryl actually reaches out.
Come on, let's go.
Takes his hand and they go running off, and then they lean up against the bank and just sit there and watch the truck burn as sticks of dynamite are like one at a time over there. So and that was really the funny part of the episode, the only funny part of the entire episode, because this particular episode was so emotionally charged between the Gabriel stuff, the Negan stuff, the round table discussions,
and all that, and then the workers, start to question like, "Where's Negan?" Da da da.
They nearly have a mutiny at Sanctuary.
They almost did. If he hadn't have showed up, I told you he'd be like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah. And that's what happens in the comics when the war's over. So, but God only knows what's going to happen in the show. They've really done a good job of keeping some key points in place, but deviating enough away from the story to where I have no freaking clue what's about to happen.
What do you think? Do you think Rick really saw that helicopter, or is he losing his mind?
That is a very solid point. And
Because it wouldn't surprise me if he really did see it.
I think we're past. I want to say that he's losing his mind, but I think we're past the point of him losing his mind.
He's already lost it.
No, I think he's past. I don't think they're really gonna, beat that dead horse anymore. I think.
I don't know. That seems to be his thing.
He doesn't really. He is good mentally in the comics from the time, basically from the time Michonne knocks him over the back of the head at Alexandria when he's doing all that. He's good from there to the time Andrea dies. And I hate it, but I almost bet that eventually Michonne is going to see that fate.
Right.
Because it really drives him. Losing a spouse really messes him up.
Oh, I can imagine.
I know, but that's the trigger that takes for him to... And it got to the point where for several issues, and it's still happening, he's going out in the middle of the night and laying down on her grave and sleeping all night. So that's going to be probably some tough stuff to deal with, both for him and the audience, because that's going to suck. Because it's already hard enough reading it. The helicopter that he sees flying, and he heads off in the direction of the helicopter and apparently runs into the junkyard people again.
Yeah, from what we
saw
in the preview.
I'm like,
I don't know.
Here's the thing. If he runs in, like, if this helicopter... it almost makes me wonder. You remember whenever they were driving down the road while they were with the prison, and they heard the faded broadcast advertising Terminus, and it was like half a season later before they even found it.
Yeah.
I think that this might be kind of the helicopter's something. They're going to be focusing on this war. Focus till probably the end of this season.
Yeah.
Towards the season finale, or somewhere towards the end of the season, he's going to find a slowdown time to bring that helicopter up. And it's going to be like, I might have been crazy or something. And my first thought is that they are going to... This helicopter is going to be from that other community that they talk to on the radio, but we're not going to know it for probably another 2 or 3 seasons,
right.
Because like literally the show is nowhere near that yet. And the comic book, they've just now met these people, but from what I understand, just from like the previews and stuff, that for the as yet unreleased books, this new community that they're meeting is very technologically advanced. Like, they've not missed a beat. Like, while Alexandria and the Kingdom and all of them are growing crops and riding horses, these people are working with microscopes and have good armor and, like, they have, like, a clean, white look to them. Didn't I show you that Walking Dead cover with, like, the 3 guys or 4 guys that it says New World Order,
yes.
And they're in like pearly white riot gear with like guns and everything. That's what we're getting ready to deal with in the comics. But I think that helicopter might be the first little tiny hint, and it's probably just a little Easter egg that they're using for people to wonder about it for 2 years before they finally bring it up.
Right.
But yeah, that helicopter means something.
That's so funny. It means something.
Either that, or they were on the set and somebody screwed up and flew a helicopter over, and they just decided to film it and put it in the show.
That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah. It was kind of flying low too. And I remember when Rick saw that helicopter in Atlanta, which turned out to be the governor's helicopter. They pieced that together eventually. And that helicopter was also what brought the gigantic herd to the farm. But yeah, this episode, I think we pretty well covered everything. We've got a cliffhanger where Gabriel's got some kind of high fever and is totally sick. And I'm betting money that it's a walker bite from when he escaped with Negan.
Probably.
Eugene, I think there's a 50-50 shot that he survives the end of the season.
Do you think he's going to tell him Dwight? Because he knows it's him.
Yes. And
I kind of figure he will too, because that's just how Eugene is.
Here's the thing. This is my prediction on how this is going to play out.
Okay.
Remember I told you that they had the crossbow bolts with the walker blood on them in the comics that they're using to, they're like, oh, we're really getting screwed, we're shooting these people and, they're not, even if we're hitting them sometimes, they're still surviving. What Negan and his group are going to do is they're going to get all their arrows, all their knives, everything, and they're going to soak them in walker blood. And that's like a biological weapon, basically. And there is a point in the comic book where Negan totally confronts Dwight outright and was like, I know you're the traitor, and you're going to have to really do something out there to prove otherwise. And he's right by Negan in the middle of a battle, and he pulls out the crossbow and shoots Rick, like right in the side. Like it doesn't hit him in any vital organ, but you're like, holy crap, he just got shot with walker guts. He's dead.
Right.
Come to find out, that was just for show. He had to shoot Rick to prove to Negan, but he made it a point, because he's gotten so good with the crossbow, to shoot him in non-vital areas. And he didn't soak the arrow. And it gets Negan back on Dwight's side. It gives you a cliffhanger because you think that Rick has died or is about to die. And that's kind of where I think that's going to go. I think that Eugene's going to tell on Dwight. Dwight's going to do that to prove his loyalty. And that'll probably end up screwing Eugene over once Dwight proves. But either the war's going to end and Dwight's going to get right back with them just in the nick of time, or Dwight's going to get killed. One of the, or not Dwight, Eugene. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This episode gets a perfect score of 10 from me. Because
I didn't know you was going to give it a 10. Really?
God, it was so much fun.
Seriously?
But, anyway, what about you?
Yeah, I give it a 10.
Okay.
There wasn't nothing wrong with it.
There really wasn't.
There was a lot of good, storylines going on. There really was. For it to be a multiple storyline episode.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
There was really...
Nothing really took away from the other.
Yeah, and there was zero dead spot.
Oh, yeah, there wasn't any spots where I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, like I made sure, like even when I got up to get something to drink or go to the bathroom, I was like, gotta make it back before that first second comes on.
Yeah.
Might miss something. But yeah, this episode was like top notch. I really hope that we only have 3 episodes to go in 2017, of course, what they said during the commercial. 3 more episodes, 6, 7, 8, and then we'll be at the mid-season finale. And the war's not going to end in 3 more episodes.
Oh no.
It's gonna go through at least, there's 16 episodes total this season. It's going to go through at least episode 15.
Oh yeah.
I still think that in 16, the season finale, they will show some of the aftermath of the war. maybe jump ahead like the old man Rick with the cane and everything. I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, we had kind of a couple of, I don't want to say filler episodes, but slow episodes, like the second and third episode. Last week it really picked up.
Last week was really, really good.
This week, holy crap. And like, it's funny because we gave them both a 10, but this week was better than last week. This was like almost 11 territory for me.
Just because, it was a little slow. We missed the first few minutes and didn't miss anything last week.
Oh, we did miss something.
Yeah.
Yeah, come to find out, at the very beginning of the episode, they killed everybody. That big machine gun killed everybody on the... And you think everybody's dead. And there's like a big pile of bodies. And like, there's the pile of kingdom people, bodies. And then suddenly a hand busts out of them and it's freaking Ezekiel escaping out of the pile.
Okay, yeah, that was probably pretty cool.
It was. I saw like the GIF on it that was like, I was like, God, I hate I missed that. That was really cool looking. But all right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap. This was
this.
Huh?
I said, yeah, let's wrap this.
Yeah, this was like so much fun, so much fun. Also remember, tomorrow I'll be doing one of my, I don't know if he wants his name on the air, but we are going to have a special guest in the morning. I think we're going to do like 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'm going to be doing actually 2 streams. First one with a special guest. I think we'll probably be playing Borderlands 2 on the Handsome Collection on PS4. That sounds right. Probably playing it. We're going to be playing some kind of a 2-player couch co-op game. And then the second part of the day, I'll be playing something by myself. Probably Skyrim, obviously. And then tomorrow night, we're going to be playing Fallout 4. So everybody enjoy that. And stay tuned. We'll be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Again around noon. And again at a little bit earlier time, 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. So everybody have a good rest of the night.
What?
Mewtwo.
Stop. Right. Anyway.
What is Mewtwo?
Okay. There's something else back there too.
Anyway. Everybody have a good rest of the night. Thanks for watching. We'll be back on tomorrow at 9 a.m., noon, and 8 p.m. I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amber.
And we're Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux out of Hickson, Tennessee. Where, remember, you can get that Here's Negan hardcover. 48 pages of Negan backstory. Awesome. Never released in a single volume before for $19.99 is the price on that. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see everybody tomorrow.